was driving home from a Halloween party late one Saturday night. It was around 2 a.m. and I was exhausted, half drunk and regretting that last slice of pizza. The highway was empty, except for the occasional truck barreling past me like a ghost. My phone battery was low, GPS was barely holding on, and the last thing I wanted was to pull over somewhere weird. But then I saw a gas station up ahead. It looked sketchy from the outside, flickering lights, peeling paint, one of those old neon signs that buzzed like it was about to die, but I didn't care. I needed to pee. I pulled in, killing the engine, and noticed the lot was empty. Not a single car. The wind was howling, carrying the faint smell of something burned, like someone had left a fire smouldering in the distance. I grabbed my backpack, told myself to just be quick, and headed inside. The gas station smelled like stale candy and bleach, like someone had tried to clean up the mess of kids who'd come in for Halloween candy earlier. A tiny bell jingled when I opened the door, but no one answered. I figured the clerk was in the back. I made a beeline for the bathroom. The lights were dim, the kind of flickering fluorescent that makes your eyes play tricks. I noticed something off the second I stepped in. The bathroom had been decorated for Halloween. Fake cobwebs hung from the ceiling, little plastic spiders scattered across the sink, and some blood-red paint smeared the mirror in the shape of handprints. At first, I laughed. Classic Halloween prank, I muttered. Then I noticed the smell. It wasn't the fake syrupy scent of Halloween decoration. It was metallic, sharp, like blood. My stomach turned. I shrugged it off. Maybe some kid had hurt themselves earlier, I thought. I'd seen worse in college parties. I washed my hands quickly, glancing around. That's when I saw it. A note scrawled on the mirror, in what looked like black marker. Don't look under the sink. I froze. My heart started pounding, like someone had hit the fast forward button on it. I laughed nervously. Yeah, okay, funny prank, whoever you are, I whispered. But the note wasn't signed. No one had been in here except me, and the door had been closed the whole time. Then I heard it, a faint click, like a metal latch moving. My eyes darted toward the sink. There was a small panel at the base, one of those little doors you see in old gas stations, usually for cleaning supplies. It was slightly ajar. My brain screamed at me to leave, but my curiosity, or stupidity, won. I crouched down and peered inside. There was nothing at first, just the pipes and some empty bottles. Then my phone buzzed. I jumped. It was on the counter. I hadn't touched it. A new notification. A photo. I unlocked it with shaking hands. It was me, from under the sink. I could barely comprehend it. I'd been alone the whole time. Nobody else had been in this bathroom. And yet, somehow, someone had taken a photo of me from under the sink. I stumbled back, my mind racing. I considered just running out, screaming, calling the cops, anything. But the door to the bathroom, the main stall door, slammed shut, hard, no wind, no one outside. It just slammed. I grabbed the door handle, yanking, shaking, but it was locked. And then I heard it, breathing, slow, deliberate, coming from the stall across from me. I tried to calm myself. Okay, just a prank, I muttered. But the breath was too heavy, too low, too human. Suddenly, the panel under the sink clicked again. I looked down. A pale hand shot out, gripping the edge. It pulled, just a little, like someone testing me. I scrambled back, knocking over a trash can. It rattled across the floor, echoing like a gunshot. The hand disappeared. The breathing stopped. Silence. I don't know why I did it. Maybe adrenaline, maybe fear, but I ran for the door. I yanked the handle, and it didn't budge. I banged on it, screaming, "Help! Someone help me!" My voice sounded tiny in that empty station. I could hear footsteps moving slowly on the other side, heavy, deliberate. Then the door clicked. It swung open, and I bolted out, not stopping until I was in my car, locking the doors and fumbling with the keys. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely start the engine. I looked back once. The gas station looked normal, empty, quiet, almost welcoming, if you ignored the blood on the mirror. and the handprints. I got home and deleted the photos from my phone. I didn't want to see them, but I couldn't stop myself. That's when I noticed one last notification, sent just a few seconds before I left the station. A video. I opened it. It was me, peeking under the sink. Only this time, there was someone crouched behind me. Someone wearing a mask, staring straight into the camera. And before I could even scream, the screen went black. I never went back to that highway. I never stopped at another rural gas station at night. And every Halloween since, I check the locks on every bathroom door twice before I even think about going in. Because somewhere out there, on a night like this, there's someone still waiting under the sink, watching, smiling. Every October, my town sets up a big haunted corn maze on the outskirts of a farm about 20 minutes from the highway. It's one of those local attractions that's more work than it's worth. Minimum wage, long nights, freezing weather. But that year, I needed the cash. I was a broke college kid, between classes and rent, and a friend told me the maze still needed actors for the last week before Halloween. I figured, how bad could it be? Jump out, scare people, collect a paycheck. The maze itself was massive. Tall corn walls, half a mile long, with different zones for each scare. There was a chainsaw section, a clown section, a fake graveyard. I got assigned to the butcher's barn. Basically, I wore a blood-smeared apron, carried a fake cleaver, and jumped out when people passed. Easy enough. Opening night went fine. Groups screamed, laughed, ran off, the usual. The whole thing was dark except for a few lanterns nailed to poles and the occasional flicker of a strobe light. I actually started enjoying it, but on the second night, something changed. I was in my spot around 10 p.m, waiting for the next group, when I saw a flashlight beam moving through the corn. It wasn't from the path, it was cutting across, coming from deep inside the stalks. I called out over the walkie, "Hey, anyone off path near zone 3? No response. The static buzzed for a second, then died. The flashlight disappeared. I shrugged it off, maybe a staff member cutting through to fix something. A few minutes later, I heard slow footsteps behind me, crunching through the corn. I turned. "Hey, you're not supposed to." There was no one there, just the rustle of corn swaying in the wind. I felt this weird chill crawl down my back, the kind that doesn't come from cold air. I told myself to relax, but the next group that came through, I could barely focus. I jumped out too early. They laughed awkwardly, and I could tell I was off my game. Around midnight, I went on my break. The maze was supposed to close soon. Most of the staff were huddled by the ticket booth, sipping hot chocolate. I asked if anyone had been walking through the corn earlier, using a flashlight. Everyone said no. One of the supervisors joked, "Maybe you saw the maze man." I laughed, but she didn't. "No, seriously," she said. "A few years back, someone went missing working here. People say his spirit still walks around, creeps out new hires." I rolled my eyes. Classic Halloween campfire story. She didn't smile, except they never found the guy, just his costume. I didn't sleep well that night. The next evening, when I came back, they moved me to a new section, the exit path. My job was to guide people out, make sure no one got lost. Simple enough. But halfway through the shift, one of the guests came up to me, a girl around my age, dressed as a witch. "Hey," she said, "just so you know, one of your actors is really good. The guy near the exit with the real cleaver? He followed us for like 5 minutes. Super creepy." I froze. What did he look like? Tall brown jacket, mask that looked wrong, like too real. We didn't have anyone in that costume. I told my supervisor, and she swore there was no extra actor. She checked the staff list, everyone accounted for. She told me to stay near the exit and call if I saw him again. About half an hour before closing, the generator started to flicker. The lights dimmed, and the maze got quiet. Too quiet. No laughter, no screams, just wind. I called over the radio. Static. Again. I started walking the path, flashlight out, calling names. "Hey, everyone good? Maze is closing." Then I saw him. At first, I thought it was one of our own actors. He was standing about 20 feet ahead, at at a bend in the path. The mask was something I'd never seen before, a kind of stretched plastic face with a painted smile. In one hand, he held a cleaver. The metal caught the light just enough to gleam. "Hey dude," I called. "Show's over. We're closing up." He didn't move. The wind picked up, rattling the corn around us. I took a step forward, shining the light at him. That's when I noticed the apron he wore. It wasn't the prop one from the costume bin. It was darker, heavy, wet. He tilted his head. The mask crinkled like it was part of his skin. My stomach dropped. "You're not." He moved fast, too fast. 1 second he was standing there, the next he was pushing through the corn, running straight at me. I turned and bolted. The path twisted. My flashlight bounced wildly, my breath ripping out of me in panicked gasps. I burst out near the exit gate, yelling for help. The other staff came running. I tried to explain, but when we went back, the spot was empty. No footprints, no cleaver, no mask, just corn, bent where someone had forced their way through. The cops came that night, swept the area. They found nothing, but here's the thing that still gets me. When they checked the time cards the next morning, they found a new name signed in for that shift. Caleb. No one hired under that name. No ID, no record, nothing. And the signature matched the missing worker from years ago. They say it was a prank, someone sneaking in to mess with us. But every Halloween since, workers still report seeing the butcher near the exit. Tall, silent, holding something that gleams under the flashlight. I quit after that week. I still can't walk through a corn maze without feeling watched. And every time I see one of those cheap Halloween masks at the store, I swear I can still smell that faint, metallic scent from the night I ran. A smell that wasn't fake blood. I never thought I'd rent out my spare room to someone I barely knew. But rent was insane that year, and my apartment on the edge of town was just a little too big for me alone. I posted the ad online, nothing fancy. Room available, clean, quiet, near downtown, Halloween friendly. I didn't think much of it. Then he messaged me, Caleb. He sounded normal enough in emails, polite, easygoing, wanted to move in right before Halloween. Perfect timing, I thought. I was excited for the holiday anyway. It's my favourite. We met once at a Starbucks. He shook my hand, smiled, and said all the right things. Move-in day was fine. He carried boxes in like a normal adult, unpacked quietly, and didn't touch anything that wasn't his. Things were going smoothly, exactly how I liked it, until the first night of October. I was in the living room, watching a horror movie, and I noticed the door to his room was closed. That wasn't unusual, except I could swear I heard the floor creak. Then a soft scrape, like a fingernail against wood. I paused the movie. Caleb? No answer. I chalked it up to settling furniture. I didn't think much of it. The next week, little things started happening. My keys would move. My journal, the one I keep tucked under my bed, would be slightly out of place. I told myself I was being paranoid. After all, he seemed normal, right? Halloween came. I decorated the apartment like crazy. Pumpkins, fake cobwebs, the whole deal. I invited friends over for a small party. Caleb joined, wearing a mask. One of those scary, lifelike Halloween masks, and I laughed. Classic Halloween costume, I said, but he didn't take it off, even after everyone left. I thought it was funny at first, but later, when I went to brush my teeth, I saw him sitting in the living room, still in the mask, just staring. Hey, I said, nervously. Why are you still wearing that? No answer. He didn't move, didn't blink, just sat there, silent. I laughed nervously. Okay, Halloween joke, got it. I went back to my room and locked the door. That night, I woke up to the sound of breathing, heavy, deliberate, coming from outside my door. My heart froze. I told myself I was dreaming. I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight. The hallway was empty. I exhaled. Maybe I was just imagining things, but then I saw it, a shadow, moving just past the bedroom door. I flicked the light toward it, nothing. I convinced myself to sleep. Big mistake. At 3 a.m. creaking started again, this time slower, more deliberate. The doorknob rattled. I sat up in bed, frozen, trying to convince myself I was dreaming. Then a voice, Caleb's voice, calm, monotone, from inside my room. "Why are you hiding?" I scrambled out of bed, grabbing a heavy lamp. Nothing. The door was still locked. The breathing stopped. I stayed up the rest of the night, gripping the lamp, eyes on the door. Morning couldn't come soon enough. Over the next few days, things escalated. I started noticing the small things he touched: my toothbrush, my phone charger, even the locks on my doors. Nothing was safe. I wanted to leave, but breaking a lease during Halloween weekend felt impossible. Then, the party. I thought maybe having friends over would scare him into normal behavior. It didn't. At some point, I realized something. My mask collection, a shelf I had decorated for Halloween, was gone. Every single mask, not stolen in the traditional sense, just moved into his room. I asked him about it. He didn't answer, just tilted his head, mask staring at me like a frozen smile. That night, I couldn't sleep. Something felt wrong. I had to know what was happening. I slowly unlocked his door while he was out, my heart pounding. I peeked inside. His room was empty, except for a wall, covered floor to ceiling in masks. My masks, all of them. And in the center, a large mirror. Not unusual, except for the way it reflected the room. I stepped closer. The mirror. It wasn't just reflecting his room, it was reflecting mine. My bed, my dresser, everything. And in the reflection, I saw him, masked, crouched at the edge of my bed. I spun around. The room was empty. My stomach dropped. I ran, straight to the door, out of the apartment, down the stairs. That's when I realized something I hadn't noticed before. Every door lock I had been tampered with. Whoever had been living with me, whoever had been watching me for weeks, could get in at any time. I called the police. They searched his room. Caleb was gone. Not a trace, except the masks and the mirror. I moved out that night, never looked back. I burned my masks in a controlled fire, one by one, and even then, I couldn't sleep for weeks. Halloween rolls around every year, and I still get that feeling. The slow, creeping sense that someone could be watching me, from inside the house I live in, or the apartment I once rented. Because the truth is, I never met Caleb. That guy in my apartment, wearing the mask, was never listed on the lease, never existed in any background check, but he knew everything about me. Everything. And if he wanted to, he could still be out there, waiting for the next Halloween. Halloween night, 2022. I was working late for a food delivery app, trying to hit a bonus before midnight. It was freezing out, the kind of October wind that cuts through your jacket. I'd already done 10 deliveries that night, mostly college kids ordering pizza and wings before their parties died down. Then the last order came in at 11:47 p.m. It was strange right away. No restaurant name, just private kitchen. The drop-off address was way outside town, near the old industrial park, half abandoned, half residential. Tip was huge though, $30. I figured, one last run. Easy money. The roads got darker the further I drove. Streetlights gave way to patches of fog, then to woods. My GPS kept recalculating, trying to find a signal. Finally, I saw the mailbox. 1137 Hollow Creek Road. A long dirt driveway led up to a small ranch-style house with one porch light glowing orange. The delivery note read, "Leave it by the side door. Do not knock." I parked, grabbed the bag, and started walking around the house. The place looked empty, windows dark, curtains drawn. The yard was overgrown, full of dead leaves. I found the side door. It was half opened. I set the bag down like the instructions said. That's when my phone buzzed. A message popped up in the delivery app. "Thank you. Please place the drink inside." Inside? That wasn't allowed, but the tip was still pending, and I didn't want to lose it. I pushed the door slightly, just enough to slide the cup in. The smell hit me first. Metallic, mouldy, like wet iron. "Hello?" I called out. No answer. I stepped back, ready to leave. Then another notification. Basement door is open. I froze. I hadn't seen a basement door. I checked the app again. My profile photo had been replaced. It wasn't my normal picture. It was a photo of me standing exactly where I was seconds ago. My heart started pounding. I spun around, scanning the yard. The woods pressed in from every side, black and silent. "Screw this," I muttered, heading for my car. The app buzzed again. This time, it wasn't a message. It was a video call request from the same customer. I shouldn't have answered, but curiosity won. The screen filled with shaky footage of the backyard, my headlights in the distance, my car parked, and the faint outline of me, still holding the phone, except I wasn't filming. I hung up, heart hammering, and ran for the driver's side door. I threw the car in reverse. Gravel sprayed, then a shape stepped into the light. A person, wearing a delivery jacket just like mine, holding a paper bag identical to the one I'd dropped off. Their face was hidden by one of those full coverage Halloween masks, cheap plastic, painted with a wide smiling mouth. I honked, shouted, "Move!" But they didn't. They just tilted their head, then slowly raised their phone. I caught a flash. They'd taken a picture of me. I floored it. Didn't stop until I hit the main road. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely steer. When I finally looked down, I noticed a notification on my screen. Delivery completed. Thank you for your service. The payout had gone through, along with the $30 tip. Attached was another photo. It showed me inside the house, kneeling by the side door, placing the drink down, except there was someone behind me in the picture, standing at the basement door, halfway visible, holding a phone pointed right at me. I pulled over and threw up. When I reported the order, customer support claimed no record of it existed. The transaction number, the address, gone. It was like it had been wiped. A few days later, my account was suspended for irregular activity. I didn't care. I quit delivering altogether. Last Halloween, almost a year later, I got a package at my apartment. No return address. Inside was a sealed food delivery bag, the same kind I used to carry. Inside it, my old uniform shirt, folded neatly, and a printed photo. The photo was taken through my window. Me, sitting on my couch, watching TV. On the back, written in black marker, "Thanks for the final delivery."